Welcome to Insight Builder channel. Introducing Pydantic AI Agentic Framework, Part 1. How to build LLM agents effortlessly with Pydantic AI. So let's start. Why Pydantic AI? First, it is model agnostic, irrespective of which provider of the model. Pydantic AI has a very simple interface to work with the models. It interfaces with Logfire integration, which we will look into the next video, where you can instrument the entire implementation of your agent using Pydantic's Logfire. It is type safe, meaning you can work with any of the type and you'll be able to properly get the information from your IDE. Python-centric design helps you to work with the classes, the base model, as well as the various typing optional classes without much of a challenge. You can have structured responses from as the output. You can inject dependencies. I'll be explaining to you what is that. And you can have stream responses. There are many reasons for it, but in layman terms, Pydantic makes it easy to add tools, maintain a state variable between the tools, and returns a structured output. So this is the main advantage that Pydantic provides. I have been working with varieties of agentic AI frameworks, starting with QAI, Swarm, you name it, Agent Lita. Lot of agentic frameworks I have even covered in my own channel. Pydantic makes it easy, in fact, to work with these couple of things. And it actually integrates it in a very simple fashion. So we'll be seeing the examples in this video itself. So stay tuned for that. So what are the building blocks of Pydantic agents? So it starts with system prompt. Agent has a system prompt, and it is very similar to the system prompt that we provide to any of the LLMs in the LLM inference itself. Then we have the structured result type, which structures the way you want the output to be. You can create dependencies. So this dependency is nothing but the state variable. And you can have a lot of optional LLM models and model settings, which is not really important. You can go with the basic setup. Most of your applications to begin with can work in these basic stuff itself. The main advantage comes when you can integrate the functions that return agents and dynamic information. So both of these things you can do it. You can use a context called the state variables, and you can update these context also using the tools. And then we have the user prompt, where the requirement of the query or the user is sent to the agents. Well, this is the basic introduction. Now the question is, where is the code? Yeah, we'll be diving into that. We'll be diving into 4 different types of code. Okay, and all the code will work this way. So there will be a demo, and the demo will be done through WebIO interface, that is a web interface, web app interface, and you will do a code walkthrough. Right, let us jump in. So again, just to recollect, the main advantage of Pydantic is to make it easy to add the tools and maintain a state variable between the tools and return structured output. So we'll be seeing all of these things in quite a few code snippets, or in fact code scripts, not just a snippet. So let us start with basic agent. So this is the first example that we are going to execute, and the necessary libraries and the packages that we need to install has been already updated into the requirements.txt. So I'll be showing you that right now in a moment, and then we will dive into the. So just give me a second. So let me do a requirements.txt. So you can see that I have included these 3 basic packages in the requirements.txt that is present in the GitHub repo. So the repo link will be shared with you guys. Next, I am running a virtual environment right inside this folder itself under Pydantic AI _spike. and you can see the virtual environment in this area. So you can see that it's little bit having a green background. So I will try to change it in the next video. Now this virtual environment is already activated. So all I need to do is right now execute this basic agent basic underscore agent.py, and that is going to create a web interface to me in a moment. So it will create a web interface, and you can see it is calling the basic Pydantic agent. And in the basic agent, you can ask any questions that you want. I want to know how many stars are there in the universe. Well, you can ask any question, right? And that question will again be repeated to you, and here is the agent reply. So these many stars are there in the universe. And you can keep on asking questions, and this is a very basic agent. Now let us look at the code. The code starts as usual, but we are going to work with the Pydantic AI import agent. So that's where we get the agent. These two lines, 4 and 5, work with the PyWebIO, where the input and output are taken care by the WebIO. You see this output, this is happening because of these two lines, imports. And I am having a traceback import here so that I have a try except block that I'll be showing you. So for that, I need a traceback. I'll be explaining to you in a couple of minutes. And I print all the necessary outputs using rich print so that you can see the output here in a better fashion. So here I'm not printing anything to the logs. So we will see that in the next code. This is a markdown which is bringing the, let me make this a little more easier for both of us. And I can now show you what exactly each line of code does. So the line number 11 is printing this welcome to Pydantic agent. So that is what the line number 11 is doing. And you can scroll down and the while loop is starting here. So this is how the chatbot kind of an interface is created here. So if I come here and now press enter without any kind of input, the code will stop. And if you go back here, the code has stopped. That's because the while loop is breaking. As per the line number 15 and 16, if my prompt is empty or my prompt is buy, then it will break. So this is a while loop I have started, which is creating a kind of a chatbot interface using a very simple looking setup. Right. Now, next what we are going to do is, here is the simple agent that you have created, which is just running using the run sync method, and it takes your prompt and it returns. That's it. It's a very simple 2-line step, but I've enclosed it in try except block just to ensure that if there is any error because of your API key missing, or if there is an internet problem or whatever it is, it will accept it and it will show you the error, and also it will print the traceback. So traceback.format exec will print the entire traceback. So this is the overall code for the first example, right? So we have seen the most simplest basic agent that you can come across. Next, what we are going to do is, we are going to look at the simple agent and the intermediate agent. The difference is, the simple agent will not use any context, while the intermediate agent will have a context used. Context is basically a state variable that is present across the entire flow or the entire execution time of the script. You can actually extend the context if you extend the context after the execution time using databases or using Redis caches, etc. It is something that you guys have to explore. I have a separate video discussing on Redis cache. Take a look at that also. That is one way to extend the context, but here my objective here is to show you how the context is worked with the agent, and also you'll see how the entire agent setup works, right? So for that, we will get into the next video and we'll start from there. So stay tuned for the next video in part 2. See you guys. Until then, practice the basics.